Every successful person has a story of victory. But hidden behind every victory is a long road filled with failure, disappointment, rejection, and pain. Today, I want to tell you the story of a young man named Mason, a man who discovered that failure wasn't the end of his journey, it was the beginning. The morning sun rose over the quiet town of Brookhaven. It was a peaceful place where everyone seemed to know everyone else's business. Small houses lined the dusty streets, children played outside until sunset, and older people spent their evenings talking on front porches. Among the people who lived there was a young man named Mason. Mason was 23 years old. He wasn't born into wealth. His father worked as a mechanic for almost 30 years, while his mother sold vegetables at the local market. They never had much, but they always had enough to survive. Growing up, Mason often watched his parents work from sunrise until late into the evening. One day, while helping his mother close her market stall, he quietly asked, "Mom, do you think life will always be this hard?" His mother smiled gently despite the exhaustion on her face. "No, son, hard work changes things. Just don't stop believing." Those words stayed with Mason for years. He promised himself that one day he would build a better life, not just for himself, but for the people who sacrificed everything to raise him. But dreams are easy. Reality is much harder. After finishing college, Mason believed life would finally become easier. He spent months applying for jobs. One application became 10. 10 became 50. 50 became more than 200. Every morning, he refreshed his email. Every afternoon, he checked his phone. Every evening, he hoped someone would finally say yes. Instead, he kept receiving the same message. "We're sorry to inform you." One rejection after another. Days turned into weeks. Weeks became months. His confidence slowly disappeared. People around town began asking uncomfortable questions. "So, have you found a job yet?" Mason would force a smile. "I'm still trying." Inside, he felt like he was falling apart. Instead of giving up, Mason decided to start a small online business selling handmade furniture with skills he had learned from his father. He borrowed a little money, bought wood, made beautiful tables and chairs. He was excited. "This is it," he thought. "My life is finally changing." Then, nobody bought anything. Weeks passed. His savings disappeared. The rent became overdue. He couldn't even repay the money he had borrowed. Eventually, he had to shut everything down. Failure. Again. One afternoon, Mason walked through town carrying the few tools he had left. He overheard a group of young men laughing. "Look, that's the guy who thinks he's going to become rich." Another added, "He should just accept that success isn't for everyone." They all laughed. Mason kept walking, but every word felt like a stone hitting his heart. That evening, he sat alone outside his parents' house. He stared into the dark sky. For the first time, he wondered if everyone was right. Maybe he wasn't good enough. Maybe some people were simply born to fail. His father quietly sat beside him. Neither of them spoke for several minutes. Finally, his father picked up a small broken wrench from the ground. "Mason, what do you see?" "A broken tool." His father smiled. "I see something different." He walked into the garage. A few minutes later, he returned. The wrench had been repaired. It only became useful again because someone was willing to fix it. Then he looked directly into Mason's eyes. Failure doesn't break people. Giving up does. Those words changed something inside Mason. For the first time, he stopped asking, "Why am I failing?" Instead, he asked, "What are these failures trying to teach me?" From that day forward, Mason treated every failure like a teacher. He realized his business failed because nobody knew it existed. He had built good products, but he knew nothing about marketing. So he started learning. He watched free videos every night, read books at the public library, listened to successful entrepreneurs, took notes, practiced every day. When he made mistakes, he wrote them down. Instead of saying, "I'm terrible," he asked, "How can I improve?" Slowly, failure stopped being an enemy. It became a classroom. Confident again, Mason launched another business, this time selling custom home decorations online. The first month, he made 3 sales. He celebrated. The second month, he made 12. Then disaster struck. A supplier disappeared with his money. Orders couldn't be delivered. Customers became angry. Refund requests poured in. His reputation collapsed overnight. Another failure. Another disappointment. But something was different this time. He didn't cry. He didn't quit. He simply opened his notebook. What did I learn? He wrote, "Never depend on one supplier." He found better partners, improved his systems, started over. Again, years passed. While many people searched for shortcuts, Mason kept improving one small step at a time. Some mornings he woke up discouraged. Some nights he questioned everything. There were moments when bills piled higher than hope. But every failure added something valuable: patience, discipline, wisdom, resilience, experience. He was no longer chasing quick success. He was becoming the kind of person who could handle success. One rainy afternoon, a famous interior designer shared one of Mason's handmade products on social media. Orders exploded. His phone wouldn't stop ringing. His website nearly crashed. For the first time, customers were waiting for him instead of the other way around. Within months, his small workshop expanded. He hired workers. Many of those workers were young people who couldn't find jobs, just like he once couldn't. His company continued growing. New products, new cities, new opportunities. Eventually, his brand became known across the country. The young man who once couldn't sell a single table now owned one of the fastest growing handcrafted furniture companies in the region. Several years later, Brookhaven organized a community leadership conference. They invited successful entrepreneurs to inspire the younger generation. One of the keynote speakers was Mason. As he stepped onto the stage, he noticed familiar faces. The same people who once doubted him. The same young men who laughed at his failures. They sat quietly in the audience, waiting. Mason smiled. Not because he wanted revenge, but because he had finally understood something. Success isn't about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. He looked across the crowd and began speaking. When I was younger, I believed successful people never failed. I was wrong. I failed more times than I can count. I lost money. I lost confidence. I lost opportunities. I was rejected. I was laughed at. I doubted myself. Then he paused. But every failure gave me something success never could. It taught me patience. It taught me humility. It taught me wisdom. It taught me resilience. And most importantly, it taught me never to quit. The room became completely silent. Some people wiped tears from their eyes. Parents held their children's hands. Young dreamers listened carefully, because every word came from experience, not theory. After the event ended, one of the young men who had mocked Mason years earlier slowly approached him. His voice trembled. "I'm sorry. I laughed when you were struggling. I thought you would never make it." Mason smiled warmly. "You weren't my biggest obstacle. I was. The day I stopped believing in myself was worse than anything anyone else ever said." The young man lowered his head. "I've been afraid to start my own business because I'm scared of failing." Mason placed a hand on his shoulder. "If you never fail, you're probably aiming too low. Failure is proof that you're trying." Years later, journalists often asked Mason, "What is the secret behind your success?" They expected him to mention intelligence, money, talent, connections. Instead, he always answered with one sentence: My success was built from every failure I refused to waste. People were surprised, but those who truly understood his story knew exactly what he meant. Failure wasn't the opposite of success. Failure was part of success. Every rejection strengthened him. Every mistake educated him. Every disappointment redirected him. Every setback prepared him. Without those painful seasons, he would never have become the man he was. If you're watching this today, maybe you're facing your own failures. Maybe you've been rejected. Maybe your business didn't work. Maybe you failed an exam. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe people have laughed at your dreams. Maybe you're wondering if you should give up. Remember, Mason, the world only celebrates the victory. It rarely sees the thousands of quiet moments when someone chooses to stand up one more time. Failure does not decide your future. Your response to failure does. Every successful person has scars. Every champion has losses. Every inventor has failed experiments. Every great leader has made painful mistakes. The difference is simple. They learned. They adapted. They kept going. So the next time life knocks you down, don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" Because one lesson learned from failure can be worth more than 100 easy victories. Your greatest setback may become the foundation of your greatest comeback. And one day, the story people admire won't be how easily you succeeded. It will be how courageously you refused to quit. Failure is not the end of your story. It is the chapter where your true strength begins. If this story inspired you, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Sometimes, one story can change the direction of a life. See you in our next video. Bye!